Hi everyone and welcome back to the Clever Report. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you'll be notified anytime I drop another video. So today we'll be reacting to a podcast Steven Crowder when he was actually basically interviewing the YouTubers, the reaction YouTubers, the Katia family about what is happening in the black community and the actions and inactions of the black community and how it affects the general community or how it affects the people's perspective, especially white people perspective on how they see the black people in the United States. So I want us to watch the clip now, then I'll give you my take on that.
What we have in the entertainment space today, that's not what sells. Like if you look at rap music now, it's about women's rap music is about sex, pussy, all these things, being the baddest bitch.
Murder. Yes,
men's about murder. So that representation is gone, man. So it's like when we reference these points, it's like who's making music now?
So
that
our
represents that?
perception of Will Smith was that he liked the ladies, and he also was a fan of Miami. Perhaps getting jiggy with it.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, we watch, we're like, okay, now white people just don't blame white people. They go, well, hold on a second, you're a black guy. You might be a big fan of murder, because I always hear black guys in music sing about murder. Oh, you're a black lady. You might be a slut because I always hear black ladies singing about being sluts. It doesn't mean all. But like you said, if it's what sells, and then at a certain point, white people feel like, well, wait, I'm allowed to say, I don't want that around my kids. I don't want to raise, that's a bad culture. And then black people go, well, it's our culture. And so then white people now are going, well, if it is, then I guess we kind of need a divorce. That's what black fatigue is.
I wouldn't even
And I
say
don't
it's
think
our
that they're wrong
culture.
for
I'll
that.
say that's the subculture.
No, but it is black culture.
It
Bro.
is,
Keeping
but
it
that
real.
is the mainstream black
That is
culture.
100%.
Yeah, that is true.
It's mainstream black.
I think that is 100% black culture. Rap. You think about rap. Music is like the peak. What shows what the culture is, and it is so derogatory, so bad. Like whenever a rapper makes a song about murdering someone, and it's not like a pretend thing. Like
Yeah,
they
he did.
really
This is really going
are
on.
really doing it in
Peeing on
real
people's
life.
graves,
And
all
then,
type of
but we
stuff.
scream Black Lives
are the
Matter in the
issues.
same
These are
breath.
the issues.
But then these people are killing and glorifying killing, and that's not a problem, you know. But you're offended if someone makes one joke or says the trigger word,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's one thing, like, it's okay. In other words, I get that art, not everything is true. Like Alice Cooper, you know, he'd be decapitated on, or Marilyn Manson, or, you know, you listen to metal, I don't think that Ronnie James Dio was slaying an actual dragon. Like, I get it. But when it's all of the biggest hits and the artists and it's continuous and it's thrust and then you're blamed saying, well, I don't really think that's a good culture to have. It's like, well, then what are you, racist? That's where white people are going, I guess so if I don't want that blasting.
But then they call us not black if we don't rock with that.
So
you know?
you guys must get it, right? Like it's exhausting.
Now, it just seems like we're beating the dead horse and talking about these issues. These are a group of young black men that are not victim-minded. They call out what is happening in their community. There's a certain time, there's a period. You don't blame people when they are cautious about black people. When I talk about black people, I'm talking of black Americans. Even African immigrants that come from Africa don't associate with them very, very well just because of this ratchet attitude. Their music, it's crazy. The rappers are talking about, the male rappers are talking about killing people. The female rappers are talking about being, sluts and whores. It just, at the time, sometimes you ask yourself that, is this, trying to fuel a demand in the culture? Are these rappers or these entertainers, even the movie industry, the black TV, is just talking about degeneracy every day? So are they filling a particular market or are they creating the market? This is a million-dollar question. Are these rappers saying that, oh, we have a ratchet culture in our society and this is where the money is? Let us, appeal to this audience and then just make the money. They just do it. Or is this, their really lifestyle and everybody's just grasping to it? It's crazy because when you call out these things, they call you a coon, they call you racist. Even in the comment section in this video, I'm going to get black Americans calling me a racist, calling me an okmotom, calling me a teta, I don't know. But none of them is actually going to say that I'm lying. At the time, I just love Steven Crowder. This series is always doing. I watched the barbershop episode and where he was trying to find common ground with black people. But you see that basically they don't want to see reasons. They're always talking about reparation and all these things. If you want the longer, I'll put the link in the description to the larger conversation, the part one. The part two is on Rumble on YouTube. Or the part two of this conversation is on Rumble, but the part one is on YouTube free of charge on Steven Crowder's page. So I'll link the real, the 1 hour podcast, so people will see it in its entirety. But the only thing I'm going to say that is that I'm happy that there are black people. These are young guys, their middle 20s or early 30s, seeing that this degenerate culture is not painting the black community right. Because people say, why are you talking about the black community? I am black too. Because sometimes if I go to the United States, for example, they look me into that same category. Because if you, like Stephen Crowder said, that if you see a white person, if a white person sees that what he's always seeing on TV is black people talking about killing each other, black people talking about being sluts and everything. When the person sees an average black person, subconsciously that is what the person might think. Now, you're not talking about every black person. Everybody knows. Keep saying this. We're not talking about everybody, but a staggering majority, staggering number. It's very crazy. See, this same rapper, just like the other guy, the Apia guy that is of Ghana descent, say that you see a rapper, in the first verse talking about killing, murdering, and everything he did, pushing drugs, and in the same second verse, he's talking about Black Lives Matter and all these things. But Black Lives doesn't matter when they murder and kill each other on the streets, especially on the streets of Chicago and all these, inner city black communities in the United States. When they talk about the crack epidemic, they brought crack in the 90s to the black community. If let's just say they brought it to your community, because you're not the only community that they brought this, weird and mind altering drug to. But the other communities did not bring out their money or their hard earned money to buy this drug to, decimate an entire generation. You black people made, or I'm not saying every black person, but the black people, you made a conscious decision to buy that drug, made a conscious decision to inject into your body. So take some responsibility, for God's sake. Take some responsibility. Nobody is actually coming to, baby you and everything. You are in the most populous country in the world. You're in the country with the biggest GDP, the best country in the world by far in comparison to every other country. You have freedom of speech, you have the First and Second Amendment. So you are in the best country in the world, basically. So I don't see any reason why you can't succeed as a black person. Why immigrants from Nigeria, my country, from Ghana, from all these West African countries come to the United States and make it. But how come you've stayed there for multiple generations? You find it hard to make because of this victim mentality and the ratchet culture. So it's not even about, it's no longer a subculture in the black community. It has become the community, the culture in the black community. So until the black community fixes this problem, it will keep on regressing. It will keep on regressing. And, woe betide them if every other person has this black fatigue. Because the whole premise of the conversation was talking about black fatigue. So that is just my own take on the issue. I might still be abused just because of what I'm seeing with my eyes, following the news stories in the United States and everything. But that's my own take. Give me your take and be respectful about it in the comment section. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you'll be notified anytime I drop another video. I love you, especially black people. I love everybody, but I love black people because we share the same skin color, we share the same ancestry. But God, remember, God loves you more. Until next time, peace.